What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video. Here back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode episode 17, and today is time for the Russian Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episode, the Singapore Grand Prix, it was a very exciting race, especially at the end with some rain in the mix. I highly recommend to go check it out. That one spoiler alert I already gave you, but the Russian Grand Prix, one of the tracks that I absolutely hate in this game. I think it's my least favorite track on this game, so maybe it's going to be quite a bore fest. You know, the nature of this track doesn't provide that much good racing in the game, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to buy an upgrade for the marketing department. I said that I was going to save some money and some resource points, but I think this is maybe going to be the final upgrade to our facilities in this season. Then we're going just to save a little bit of money, and then we're going to do what we're going to do is spend a lot of money in upgrades for the facilities during the winter break, like I said. And we're going to buy another one. It was a development feedback that is going to give us more resource points, because remember that we're going to have a warning of a regulation change. We don't know what is going to be the change, but we received a few episodes ago that by Carl, I think it was 2 episodes ago, that we're going to have a regulation change. We don't know where, but when we receive an email like this, surely that we're going to have a regulation change. So I'm already starting to save some resource points, because we're going to spend a lot of R&D points by adapting the path. So already thinking in the second season, and the performance chart, we have 2 major upgrades for this weekend, and are going to be the last ones. And we got very close to Haas and Renault, just a pixel behind them, and then Williams a bit further behind. So that's a bit unfortunate. I really wanted to see Williams closing the pack, see a good fight till the end of the season, but that is the performance chart. Basically nothing has changed. I think the biggest change was our team Tom Motorsport that brought 2 major upgrades, and these are going to be the final ones for this season. So that's the conversation that I was having a few moments ago. But now we're going to press on to qualifying. We'll see what we can do based on practice. Has been kinda okay, but it's going to be quite a challenge to get into the second phase of qualifying. So going a little bit wide, as you can see, feeling not very comfortable in this first lap. There's a lot of time left on the tail, but for the time being we're ahead of Nicholas Latifi and Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. You're joking. It should have been a terrible lap for Bottas. Probably he was stuck on some traffic, or maybe lost a bit of his front wing, and that compromised the rest of the lap. I don't know, but we skip all the way to the closing stages of the session with almost 2.5 minutes to go, and we are in P18, so it's going to be our last lap. But there's a car in front of us, and it is our teammate Nick de Vries that absolutely ruined our lap. Are you kidding me? I think Nick wants to be fired, I don't know, but you're going to see in the replay camera that he moved out of nowhere to the racing line, and that was very close to contact. I've never seen a teammate impeding my qualifying lap in my F1 career, and this is the first, and the first time that I get this is a teammate that is working for me, is one of my employees in my team. So that was a bit anticlimactic, so maybe a civil war at the Tom Motorsport. Anyway, we're going to press on. We are 1/10 down. I just decided to cool the things down in this lap. I decided to let Nick go because I didn't want him to get any sort of off slipstream, because at that time I was so mad at him. But we are 1/10 up, so like I said, there was a lot of time left on the tail, but this track is absolutely awful. I don't like this track, and probably I'm not the only one that thinks like this. I don't know. It doesn't give me you know, pleasure to drive around this track. It doesn't give me any satisfaction. And then overtaking is super hard. The race it seems on Sunday to be likely kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie, but we are 5/10 up on our previous pet. Make that 6 in a few moments time, and there he is. He's going to be 6 now. Yes, it is, as we are already with the DRS open, and we're going to reach 330, almost that. But the checker flag is out, and Bottas still in P20 in this session, so that is kind of surprising. Can we see Mercedes out of the first qualifying session? I don't know, but Bottas is really close to us, as you can see in the mini map, and we are actually gaining a bit of time, if I'm not wrong, to Nick. But we'll see what we can do now. Bottas down to P21, and we are as well down into P19 as we're going through the final couple of corners. Final corner, make sure to get the best exit speed as you can across the line. It was a big improvement on this lap, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to put us into the second stage of qualifying. It's going to be P19 where we're going to start this Russian Grand Prix. So it was kind of disappointing, and Bottas actually topped the session, so he's in and made a huge improvement. Like I said, I shouldn't be disappointed. I don't like this track. Maybe I'm not motivated video for this episode. I'm not entirely sure, but the pace on practice hasn't been the best. Maybe probably this is the car where it should be, and that is going to be our starting position for this race. No grid penalties coming to play, at least favouring us for Sunday. So without further ado, let's go to the Russian Grand Prix and we'll see if we can put a good show.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Built on the shores of the Black Sea, the Sochi Autodrome is a 3.6-mile tour around some of the venues built for the 2014 Winter Olympic Games. Close barriers may make overtakes more challenging, but with 56% of the lap taken absolutely flat out, we certainly won't be wanting for pure speed. A fitting arena then to do battle at the pinnacle of motorsport. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Albon, Sainz, Perez, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Antonio Giovinazzi and Norris, Raikkonen, Ocon, Kevin Magnussen and Thomas. De Vries, Russell, Latifi and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
We've got some work to do to match your result from the last race. Come on, we know you can do it.
Thanks, Jeff, but it's going to be really hard to, replicate the result that we had in the last race. We almost got a podium. If you haven't watched that episode, already gave you the spoiler. We almost got a podium. It was a very exciting race. Anyway, this is a Russian Grand Prix. One stop is going to be for everyone, because that's what makes this track absolutely boring. It's because the strategy is basically the same for everyone. But we'll see what we can do. For Ferrari 1-2 at the grid is not very common to see in this career mode, in real life as well. But 5 red lights, and away we go. It was a great start against the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. We already gained the position, so we're going to try to get some slipstream of the Renault of Esteban Ocon and maybe the Alfa Romeo of Raikkonen. No, because Raikkonen moved on to the inside, and we're actually kind of awkwardly in the middle of the track as Raikkonen gives a little bit of a squeeze, and that makes us a little bit tempted as we go into turn 1. But everyone is alive for the time being, and Magnussen retakes the position if I go on the inside. So we maintain the position for the time being, but remember that we are very good on the first laps, and Nick tries to go on the inside through the long left-hander. That could end up in tears with the contact, and I could have been spun around like Vettel was by Daniel Kvyat at 2016, if I'm not wrong. But we tried to take a slight look on the inside of the Haas, but no use. And for the time being, we are in P18, so it's going to be maybe a frustrating race if I don't make this move. But I have to be really patient. It's a long race. You never know what can happen, even with a track where racing can be kind of boring. As we go now, we're going to get prepared to the second DRS zone. DRS is going to be enabled just once we hit we start our third lap, so apologies for that. But we're getting some beautiful slipstream of Kevin Magnussen, and he squeezes right onto the outside line. We almost lose a bit of our front wing, but we managed to keep our line, and that allows us to go on the inside and retake P17. So a very hot battle, I'm not gonna lie, with Magnussen, but needs must. We have to make these moves if we want to get any chance to get a positive result and maybe points. I'm not seeing get any points during this race, but we'll see, as the freeze was going side by side with Max. They're still going at it, but at the end of the day, I think it was Magnus. No, you can see in the headers display that they are jostling a position, because the position between P18 and 19 is always changing. But I think at the end of the day, it was Magnussen that got the position. So our car is not being the best, especially is not going to be in this closing stage of the season, because we're going to see the development in order to save already points. But anyway, we're going to press on. We're actually kind of keeping honest on these guys, the likes of Raikkonen and Ocon. We have points on our side. Everyone is still bunched up, but I have a good feeling about this, because this can give us a confidence. Maybe they're stuck in each other's dirty air, and that can allow us to get an undercut. I don't know, but these guys are going side by side. These guys that are ahead of us is Norris and the other Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi, and Norris tried a very audacious look on the inside through the penultimate corner, but no use, and he has to stick behind the Alfa Romeo. So we're going to try to get some sweep of Kimi Räikkönen, but you're going to see that he's pulling away massively on the straight. So if you want to know the setup, I'm carrying a 2.7 wing, so it's kind of an extreme setup, I'm not gonna lie. But I think overall I can consider a mid-downforce setup, so it's going to be really a challenge if we want to make these overtakes. I think the only chance that we have to make these overtakes is to wait for Räikkönen to make a mistake like he did. He was going sideways, and that can give us a chance, but he gets a good straight line speed. Let's try to go around that side. No, I don't have enough grip to go around that side of the fence, so maybe Räikkönen is starting to feel the pressure, and like I said, I really need maybe Räikkönen to lose the DRS to the guys ahead, and I think that is the only chance, as Norris finally makes the move on Giovinazzi, this time very cleanly in the second DRS zone. And now Valtteri Bottas is out of the race and he's pulling off to the side, and this is going to mean big things for the championship, because Bottas is leading. The Ferraris are waltzing away, as you can see. It's a Ferrari 1-2, and I don't know if you see momentarily in the minimap, the Ferraris are waltzing away of the Mercedes of Hamilton. So the Mercedes struggling at Russia, which is kind of interesting to see, because this is supposed to be a track that favors the Mercedes cars, you know, but it seems that the Ferraris are dominating. I wish I could see that in real life, especially with Vettel ahead. But anyway, Räikkönen going out once again a bit sideways, and that gives us a bit of confidence as we're getting closer and closer, but he's still within the DRS window of Esteban Ocon. So we really actually he's without DRS, so maybe that can give us a chance, as we're going to have DRS, rich mix, overtake mode engaged, not mood, and we'll see if we can set up a move finally on the Alfa Romeo, as we're going to switch on the inside, and it's going to be a very audacious dive on, but we're going to go a little bit wide, and that is going to allow Räikkönen to go around the outside. Beautiful switch back from the Alfa Romeo as we're going side by side. Beautiful camera shot through the turn 3, and it is going to be really close as we try now go around that side, but we had a lot of understeer, and we have to leave the fight for another day. And it's been a very entertaining afternoon actually with this battle with Räikkönen, so I was expecting a very boring race, I'm not gonna lie, but it seems that we have a challenge that is clearly Alfa Romeo, but because it seems for the time being, at least in this first stint, that we are faster than Räikkönen. Is already dropping a lot to the likes of the Renaults and the McLaren. So if we want to have any chance to challenge these guys, we need to clear Räikkönen as fast as we can. So we're going to have now the second shot. We are kind of close, and we're going to open the DRS once again, and it should be really easy. Look how close we are to the Alfa Romeos. Fake to the right, switch to the left, and we're going to try to go around that side. Who's going to brake late? Is going to be, we were actually at the same time, but then the second phase of the braking zone, and that allows us to put the nose in front, and then as you can see, we gave him a little bit of a squeeze him onto the curb to reduce the traction, in order to make sure that he doesn't come back. And now we're going to try to hunt Esteban Ocon, the light of Giovinazzi. The points are on the side, so I don't know if you're going to get points, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm starting to feel the tire wear on these soft tires. So the tire wear generally here is kind of low, but considering that I'm pushing a lot, these tires are starting to fade away a lot. So I decided to do another cunt and see if I can get any closer to this guy. So we're going to dress a brand new set of medium tires, and that is going to be the strategy. And I wonder if it's going to be the same. Probably it's going to be the same for the guys around us. So it's been a very successful stint. Probably I lost too much time behind Räikkönen, but now with the guys in front stuck in each other's dirty air, they're going to be damaging their tires, and that maybe can give us a chance to get another cut. So there is the medium tires, and that is going to be the strategy for today. So I think this is what makes the track very boring, this socky track, is because the strategy is basically the same. It has a lot of long corners that provides a lot of dirty air, and that makes you know, the overtaking opportunities, you know, kind of low. But we were joined in last place obviously, but now it's time to push to give some good outlaps and see if we can get closer. If I get at least within the DRS zone, I think I can call a very successful undercut, because these guys have so much pace, and we managed to overtake the AlphaTauri of Daniel Kvyat, and we are in range of Lando Norris. So the overtake actually kind of worked, which I was kind of worried, and we actually now managed to catch a lot of Norris, as these tires are still a little bit cold. But we skip on to lap 12, and he already pulled away. He actually broke the DRS window, so this is car at the moment, and I think it's going to be for the rest of the season. We're going to have a lot of tracks which are very hard for us, such as Brazil and Abu Dhabi, the last 2 rounds. So maybe these last rounds of the first season are going to be a little bit of a pain on the arse, I'm not gonna lie, because we're going to be lacking of pace. We're going to seize the development, but once we get into season 2, definitely I have the feeling that things are going to be really good for us. But now Esteban Ocon on the hard tires, very slow on the inside through the at the end of the second DRS zone, going a little bit wide back on the apex, very awkwardly in the middle to make sure that he doesn't do anything, and he is on the hard tires. So Renault feels like that Esteban Ocon can carry the mediums till the end, which is pretty impressive. Impressive. Yes, it is impressive to see someone touching the hard tires at the tracks like Russia. I just touched the hard tires to do the track acclimatization program, and that's pretty much it. This is a track with a very low tire wear, but as we are pushing a lot, I think that's normal to have quite a high tire wear at the end of the season. So maybe it's not going to be the last time that we're going to see Ocon, because at the closing stages of the race is going to get closer and closer. It's within the DRS zone. The DRS has been keeping Ocon at bay against me, and I'm trying to catch Norris and Giovinazzi, but I can't do anything. These guys are mega fast, and that is going to be the maximum that we can get during this race. And now Ocon with some pace, with better straight line speed, and he gets the move done and dusted. So we are at a point that absolutely nothing that I can do. A safety car would save us, and maybe I would beat under the safety car and try the late race charge, but that is not going to happen. And I'm trying to, at least just for pride, to re-catch Ocon and overtake him. So we are pushing like hell. I'm damaging my tires behind this dirty air. I think Raikkonen is getting closer and closer. Kvyat is dropping a lot because he fit the hard tires, if I'm not wrong, and that allowed Raikkonen and Magnussen to overtake the AlphaTauri. So it's been a very terrible home Grand Prix for the Russian. But we're going to see if we can make a move on Esteban Ocon, because now on lap 25 with 3 laps to go, we are very close to the Renault, and we're going to try to pull a run outside as he goes the fence. He was going to brake later, it's going to be me, but that is going to allow maybe to do the switch back. No, he gave us enough room, and that's us back into P13. So probably this is going to be the maximum, and this is going to be the maximum that we're going to get. But Ocon maybe has a word to say, because he's getting closer and closer. So basically just stick with the DRS window, and you should be fine in order to make moves. But we're starting our final lap on this Grand Prix, and Ocon is getting closer and closer. So maybe this is going to be down to the wire as I'm deploying everything. Rich mix, overtake mode engage, and maybe Raikkonen is gaining a lot of time as he tried to go run outside. But I think Ocon lost a bit of the rear of the car, and that allowed Raikkonen to go on the inside. So unfortunately I don't have the replay, but you're going to see what happened. So Raikkonen tried to go run outside, and then I don't know what happened to Esteban Ocon. Maybe he stepped too much on the curb, he lost all the momentum, and that allowed to Raikkonen to get a move, and he actually overtook, got the move done on the Renault. I don't know, because I didn't feel any sort of touch. But now we are under pressure of Raikkonen on the last lap, but we step on the sawtooth curb and we've been launched, and Raikkonen and we were joined a bit dangerously. So now we have a front wing damage, so drama at the end of this Grand Prix. As we made a mistake, we bottled it, and we've been launched because of that sawtooth curb, because I cut too much that curb. And unfortunately we have major front wing damage, and actually Raikkonen is on the hard tires as well, so he's in the same. I was saying that it was on the mediums. No, he's not, he's on the hard tires. But Raikkonen is going to finish in P13 now, as I'm leaping, going so slow. Look how slow I am in the left-hander, so it's going to be an absolute pain, this final left-hander. Look how slow I'm going, in order to keep Esteban Ocon behind me. He's really close to my gearbox. I'm deploying everything back a little bit very awkwardly on the middle, but I think that is going to be pretty much it. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a pretty miserable Russian Grand Prix, I'm not gonna lie, with just P14 in the bag.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
A great race then, and a fantastic win here in Sochi. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
What a crap race it was. I know it's just me, but at least this happens to me every time that I'm going to race around Russia, as well online. I'll always have a very boring race. I see other YouTubers doing career mode races, and the Russian Grand Prix is very exciting for them. But for me, it's basically driving alone, especially in the second stint. The first stint was actually kind of exciting by overtaking Raikkonen, and it was kind of a good battle. But then in the second stint was just push as hard as I can, and there was any target because everyone was faster than me. It was just keep Ocon behind me. But there is confirmation results, and Bottas now is 15 points ahead of Hamilton. So just see how healthy the lead over Hamilton was before his DNF. But now we are down into P10 in the standings, but there's nothing that I can do. This car is not in the same pace as the likes of the McLaren and the AlphaTauris, you know. But constructor standings, we are still in P9. I'm just the only one carrying the flag, and I don't see Nick scoring any sort of points for the rest of the season because our car is kind of weak, and we'll see what we can do in the next few races until the end of the season. But it's going to be quite a challenge, especially at the last 2 rounds, Brazil and Abu Dhabi, which are tracks that are really good for the AI, and I kind of struggle around here. But guys, around there I should say. But guys, that has been episode 17 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a very boring race, but I apologize for that. Hopefully next episode is going to be the Japanese Grand Prix, one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, so hopefully we're going to have a good race there. But for now it's time to say goodbye, and I'll see you guys for brand new next time.